Shohei Ohtani has cleaned out his locker in LA. What does that mean for the new free agent to be? We may have just seen the dirtiest college football game, at least I have ever seen in my lifetime. And which NFL head coaches are already on the hot seat after week 2? That and more coming up right now on Sports Talk with Dad. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Sports Talk with Dad. As always, my name is Kyle, and I cannot call this Sports Talk with Dad without the man sitting next to me, a man who was alive for the very first NFL championship, my dad, Tim.
Was not alive. I missed the Packers' first 3 straight NFL championship wins.
Yeah.
They did it again. They did it again in 6.
They did. Aging yourself, man. You do it for me. I don't have to do it. Let's get right into baseball, starting with my Chicago Cubs. I think that I'm gonna light the cigar for Joe Boone.
They're only 19 out.
They're not 19 out. They're in the playoffs as of right now.
They're wild.
They have lost 6 of their last 10.
Look, Milwaukee's magic day is 7.
Magic day, magic number.
Magic number is 7. However, they've got a lot of games left against not only the Cubs, but the Cardinals, who, as always, are playing much better in September.
They haven't won the division yet. The Cubs are still there. The Reds are still there. But the Cubs are doing what their September swoon that I have grown to know and hate is happening yet again. They always get us so excited in August. And then September comes.
They used to blame that on playing all-day games. That they just ran out of gas because of that sun beating down on them.
Yeah, that's how I know Green Day are Cubs fans, because just wake me up when September ends. I don't even want to be here for this anymore. The bigger news in baseball is Shohei Ohtani cleaned out his locker in LA. This could be it.
It could be. It's not bigger news. It's not even a blip. I don't even know why it became a story.
What are you talking about? It became a story.
He's got an oblique.
Since when do you see MLB players? That cigar smells real bad. We need a new one for him. Maybe that's why they're losing. I wish you guys were in this studio right now.
I'm glad you're not.
That is a new cigar needs to be bought for him.
Anyways.
But it is a big deal because he is, who cleans out their locker before the end of a season?
Somebody who has an oblique injury, somebody who has to have surgery on the ulnar tendon, and somebody who doesn't know if he's going to be back with the team. He just cleaned it out. It's not a big deal. Well, he wasn't going to be with the team the rest of the year anyways.
Let me ask you this, because you were a part of minor league baseball. Sure. You were a general manager and player for a minor league team in the Quad Cities. So let me ask you this. Is this common even in single A, where if somebody's done for the season and they're hurt?
If they're hurt badly enough where they're going to have surgery, absolutely. They're not going to be with the team the rest of the year. They'll clean it out. They're gone.
Is that a common practice where you clean out your entire locker if you're going to be on the team next year?
Yeah, well, in minor leagues, of course, because you don't know where you're going to be the following year. You may be in Double-A or whatever. But even with a major league player, especially one going into his free agency, it doesn't surprise me. I don't think it's that big a deal. It's not like Sosa when he just left the team when he was...
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Games still to be played. Ohtani's not going to be playing in any of these games.
They tried to build a playoff run. That's why he played.
Sure.
And they didn't get there.
Give him credit for that.
I just don't think he's coming back. I think this is a sign of things to come. Even if the locker room cleaning out his locker, it does not mean the same thing that I think it does. I think he is gone.
I think that was kind of the feeling all along, that he's either going to be a Dodger or with some other team next year. I don't say that because I don't want to jinx it.
The Yankees are still on the table. They got the money.
They always have the money. Dodgers have the money. His doctors are in LA, so I think the odds are that's where he's going to end up.
Yeah, West Coast, closer time to Japan, still a big difference. It was like 16 hours.
It's a long way away. Pacific Ocean is very big.
It is getting smaller every year.
Yeah, Biden's going to build a bridge. Anyways.
Hey, you can see Russia from your backyard in Alaska, okay? Okay? It's right there.
Our politicians, once again, making themselves look foolish on the national stage, whether it's Republican or Democrat, they both do it.
The sound clips are amazing and last for a long time.
In any case, I just don't think it's a big deal. My thought is going to be, is he going to be able to come back and pitch again? Because that's really, if he can't pitch, he's not a $700 million man.
He's not. He can come back and pitch. What? He's having Tommy John surgery.
Second time.
Okay?
He's got to be able to pitch.
That's a big deal. Look at Brock Purdy right now. Brock Purdy literally ripped that thing in half, and he's back
overthrowing people
8 months later.
Yeah,
and throwing the ball like you just said. He's overthrowing his receivers. I mean, I'm not too worried about it. He's going to come back and be fine.
He may be the first guy to ever have surgery and have a stronger arm afterwards.
Maybe. Surgery is a different ball game now. It really is. Even with Rodgers, and I know we're going to get into it, but even with Rodgers, he's going to be back this season as long as the Jets figure this out. We're going to go back to baseball. But this isn't that big of a deal.
No, it's not.
He's going to be pitching again. He's going to be hitting again. He's going to be fine. In 6 months' time, you're not even going to realize anything happened. He'll be there for the end of spring training.
If he can't pitch and hit for at least 10 years, he's going to have to be outstanding at the plate in order to get to the Hall of Fame.
I don't think so. He still did something nobody's ever done before.
Sure, and they'll recognize it in the Hall of Fame. That doesn't mean you're going to get a plaque in the Hall of Fame.
I'm just saying he's going to be recognized in the Hall of Fame for doing something nobody's ever done. He did something Babe Ruth didn't even do,
correct? Which
is pitch and hit in the live ball era. And I'm tired of people saying,
okay,
Ruth, it's a big difference. It's a big difference.
Ruth did pitch and hit
in the dead ball era.
He was more, when he pitched, he didn't hit. Then he was in the lineup. Ohtani,
he doesn't hit when he pitches either.
I understand that, but
same concept.
It's still a different day and age, and he's doing something nobody ever thought we'd see in this day and age.
Right, and in the live ball era.
Again,
I don't know why it's such a big deal for me to say that. Babe Ruth pitched in the dead ball era. He never pitched in the live ball era.
He did. He pitched in 19.
He never pitched in the live ball era. He did not pitch in 1920.
He had to play against the best in the game, live ball, dead ball. I'd say it's harder to pitch in the dead ball because that ball becomes mush, and he still could throw it.
Which means it's harder to hit. You throw more ground balls.
Oh, God.
You get more spin on the ball because there's more stuff on the ball.
Against the
I'm not
best
saying he didn't.
players. Stop.
But he still didn't pitch in the live ball era.
Ohtani's
doing something we've never seen before in baseball.
Well, we haven't seen it because we weren't alive back in the
Anybody. You could be 150. You've never seen this in baseball.
He's got to come back and pitch and hit for him to have any chance at the Hall of Fame.
We're saying the same thing. I don't know why you get so mad about the Babe Ruth thing.
Angry over it.
Why? I didn't say anything ridiculous. I'm stating facts. If you get mad at facts, you can get mad at facts. I don't care.
I'm cranky today, and you're making it worse.
That's what makes this show fun for me.
I mean,
when you are in a bad mood and I see you come down here grumpy.
Yeah.
Now I know I get to pick. And that is part of my fun because this is on camera, and so you can't hurt me. And I enjoy that.
I know, and I can't even. I'll talk.
Listen, I know things are going to get dirty later, but speaking of things getting dirty, Colorado versus Colorado State. You stayed up for the game. I watched the highlights afterwards in a sped up form. Man.
Colorado State, make no mistake, was out to cause injury to Colorado's players.
Yeah.
They had somebody ejected, and I'm sorry, the guy that hit Travis Hunter should not have only been flagged. He should be out for several games.
That is probably the dirtiest play that has ever been seen since Charles Martin did what he did to Jim McMahon. And those of you that don't know what Charles Martin did, Martin was a Green Bay Packer. Jim McMahon was the Bears quarterback at the time. Play long over, picks him up, slams him on his head, and is the reason, I believe, that Jim McMahon is having the issues he is now with his neck.
Probably part of it. And Henry Blackburn, with what he did to Travis Hunter, he lacerated his liver.
Yeah. Which
he's out for a month.
I mean, the good news is, and it's never good when your organs get hurt, right? But if you have one of two organs to get hurt, the liver is the one you want because the liver regenerates itself. It heals itself.
It does.
Can you
but-
name the other organ besides the liver that heals itself?
Brain.
No.
What?
Your skin.
Oh, yeah.
Skin's the
Is it
largest organ on the body.
You're right. Anyways, Henry
Point for
Blackburn,
me.
I want to make sure he gets the shame he should. It was a cheap shot. Hunter had no way. He didn't see it coming.
The ball was down, and here's the part that really bothers me. Travis Hunter's here, right? The Colorado State player's here, so he has to go around that Colorado State player to hit him,
right?
And just level him. The fact that wasn't targeting, and I haven't heard anybody disagree with that.
No, everybody agrees. And matter of fact, the NCAA should review this, and there still should be a penalty put on Blackburn.
There should be an investigation. This is worse than Bountygate in New Orleans. And again, for those of you that don't know what Bountygate was, it was 2009 New Orleans versus Minnesota Vikings NFC Championship, where the defensive coordinator put a bounty on Brett Favre's head to get him out of the game.
And they've been doing that most of the year as well. But
he just came out to hurt players, and now you have Colorado's. They did what they wanted to do because now you have the two biggest games on Colorado's schedule back to back in Oregon and USC, and you are missing your best player.
Well, and on top of that, if I'm the NCAA, I'm mad because he hurt all of college football.
Yeah,
Colorado was the biggest story in college football this year, and now you've lost the biggest chess piece of all.
Yeah. I mean, the only two-way player I've ever seen.
When's it been since Rocco Nagurski or somebody, the guy who played for Philadelphia?
Eric Bednarik.
Yeah, Yes, Bednarik. Chuck
Bednarik. Where did I get Eric?
He was, I don't know, but that was in the early 1960s.
Yeah. He was the last two-way player in the NFL.
This kid was awesome on both sides of the ball. A lacerated liver is life-threatening.
It is, but he's in stable condition.
Right.
He's going to be fine. Again, the liver heals itself. So he's going to be fine. It's much better than a spleen or a lung or anything else that could have been in that area. The spleen's on the other side. Shut up, I know. But the lung's over there.
Beside the point, the fact is he hit him hard enough to cause major injury.
Yeah.
Internal injury to him.
Yeah, I mean, talk about going after a defenseless wide receiver.
Yeah. This guy had no prayer.
No, and I think the NCAA is going to review this. You have to at this point. This is absolutely ridiculous, and he needs to be suspended. That can't be allowed. The coach for Colorado State,
Jay Norville,
he needs to be looked at this point for suspension for that nonsense. I mean, I get playing hard, and it was a great game to watch, but it was getting chippy, it was getting dirty, and listen, I think Colorado's going to come out, and I think they're going to beat Oregon.
They're going to have to do it on adrenaline, and they may. They're going to be inspired. Prime's going to have them ready.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, but
when's the last time you've seen a team that won one game the year before getting every team's best the next year?
Deion Sanders hasn't coached before,
right.
So I'll say this is one of the first.
Yeah. I mean, Shedor's going to be ready. He's showing he's the best quarterback in the league. He can come out this year. You were wrong last weekend.
I ate a bag of chips to ease my pain.
Yeah, Lay's with ketchup.
I like it. What's the difference between Lay's with ketchup and French fries with ketchup? Kind of the same thing. I like it. Leave me alone. I also put peanut butter on Lay's. Nobody says anything about that
gross.
either. It is not.
That's gross.
No, it's not.
That I do not like. But at least it made you feel better. You let us know what you think about peanut butter and ketchup on Lay's.
Not at
if
the
it's
same
okay.
time.
Not at the same time.
That is gross.
I thought that's where you were going.
No. Sometimes I have peanut butter on fries. Sometimes I have, or on chips. And sometimes I have ketchup on chips.
Peanut butter and potatoes don't go together.
Yeah, they do.
That's a weird one.
My stomach.
You let us know what you think in the comments below, and while you're down there, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy this show as much as we enjoy making it. That's really gross. I can't get past that. That's really, really gross. We are doing a new segment today, though, unless you have more to say on Colorado.
Just going to say, thoughts and prayers going out to Travis Hunter. I hope
100%.
you have a quick recovery. And you will. He's a kid. He's in unbelievable shape. He's going to recover quick. He's still going to be held back for, I'm saying, 3 weeks to a month.
Probably.
Be safe.
It's
Now
a
we're
liver.
risking it.
It's not. It's a liver.
Yeah.
Make sure you protect that thing. You need that. We are starting a new segment today because there is a lot to talk about in the NFL, and as much as we'd like to talk about all of it, this is an hour show, so we don't really have all the time in the world to do that. And so we are going to start an NFL speed round every single week, starting this week and starting with Josh Allen. Is Josh Allen back to normal?
He had a great game against the Raiders, and I don't know if that means Josh Allen is back to normal or if the Raiders are just not a good team.
Listen, they played a really bad defense, and I think a poorly coached defense. If you watch that game, they were out of it quite a bit. This was a good game for Josh Allen, but he's going against Commanders, which is a much better defense, a much better coached defense, and a much better team than I think people realize. He's going to struggle again. The chinks are in the Buffalo Bills armor.
I still don't think they make the playoffs.
No, they don't. And you're going to see that armor start to split, and this is going to look like a real bad team come midseason.
Speaking of teams that may not make the playoffs, Bengals and Vikings are both 0-2. Can either or one of them come back?
Listen, the Bengals, I said we're going to start 0-6.
You did.
I said that from the word go. They're an aging team at running back. That offensive line is still bad. The defense is suspect. And Burrow is hurt, and he's clearly still hurt. I can't imagine he won't be shut down for the next couple of games. He should have been shut down for the first 5 weeks of this season.
He should.
They are going to go. They won't go 0-6 because they have the Arizona Cardinals in Week 4, and I think most college teams could beat Arizona this year. At this point, they're trying to lose. The Vikings, listen, Kirk Cousins is still having an MVP season right now. Back-to-back 300-yard games. He's throwing plenty of touchdowns. Some of those were in garbage time, I understand. But this team is too talented. Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator. That defense looks better already, and they're going to get better as the season goes. You are too talented. If Madison stopped fumbling the damn ball, they'd be in a much better position. They need to fix the running back situation. And as soon as they can do that, they're going to be winning no problem.
They're going to get healthy this week to play the Panthers. I think that's going to be a win. Cincinnati plays the Titans. Josh Allen should not play in that game. And
Not Josh Allen, Joe Burrow.
Sorry, I was back in the other one. Joe Burrow should not play that game.
No.
And they're going to lose that game.
Let touchdown Jesus. Let football Jesus heal, okay? Mike McCarthy, he is back in Dallas. This is what Dallas needed all along.
I think they needed him to be calling the plays. He's just more effective when he's in charge of the offense. He's very creative. I love seeing him back. Here's the other question. Is Dallas really the best team in the NFL right now?
100%. McCarthy, I said this last year. McCarthy, second to last game of the year last year, got the eye of the tiger back. I saw a Mike McCarthy I had not seen since he was early in his Green Bay season, since before 2015. He is back. He is calling plays that we used to see him. He's back to being creative, which is what got so frustrating in Green Bay, is that he was so creative and then got so stale. The last 2 years he was there. He is 100% back. The Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the NFL, and the only thing that can hold him back is Dak Prescott.
Well, right now, Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy are on the same page. Prescott's completion percentage is really good.
Yeah.
So I think Dallas right now, I mean, it's a long season. They're going to hit chinks in the road, but I love seeing McCarthy so engaged, and he is ready to win.
As much as I dislike Dallas being a Packer fan, I will be happy to see Mike McCarthy win another Super Bowl.
As will I. TJ Watt becomes the Steelers' all-time sack leader with 81.
He's played 89 games.
And 81 sacks.
Has 81 sacks.
Should have been a Packer.
Should have been a Packer.
He was drafted number 30.
Yes, the Packers had the pick. Everybody thought that's where he was going in the draft. The Packers drafted or traded back and drafted Kevin King instead. I remember.
My God.
I remember.
You could have had, if you would have gotten TJ Watt, odds are then you would have had JJ Watt. Granted, he was injured, but he would have been on the Packers.
The crazy thing is, so you look at that 81 sacks, he is just in the second year of his second contract. He just got his contract extension last year. He's already at 81 sacks. He was hurt most of last year and is already at 81 sacks. This guy is better than his brother was, which is scary to think.
And they've got another brother who's also in the NFL playing fullback for the Steelers, and is obviously good, or he wouldn't be on the NFL. The thing I've never understood, Wisconsin will have a few of these kind of players over the years, especially when Barry was here.
State of Wisconsin. Wisconsin Badgers.
Wisconsin Badgers, state of Wisconsin, pick your poison. Green Bay will never draft a hometown kid.
They don't.
I don't get it. I pass by some of the players, I get, but when you've got somebody like a TJ Watt, I just don't get it.
Listen, the Bengals and the Browns draft Ohio State players, no problem at all.
Right.
And Green Bay needs to get comfortable with drafting Wisconsin players because Luke Fickell is about to turn that program. Not better than Ohio State, but they'll get some players. Jets need to be calling the Vikings about Kirk Cousins. This one's not mine. This one's yours.
It is. And I do think they've got to do something because, I mean, I don't believe Rodgers when he says he's going to be back this year. That's a heck of a lot of ayahuasca.
He is coming back this year.
Okay, let me ask you.
If the Jets are in the running, if they're not in the playoffs, then no, they're not going to be.
Zach Wilson's not the answer. He's not going to get him into playoff contention. This team is ready to win. And with a team that's ready to win like this, what are you going to do? Jameis Winston isn't available, but he's not going to get him to the playoffs. Kirk Cousins will. Then you have a problem because if Rodgers comes back, Kirk Cousins, would he sit? They've got to make a decision about the direction of their team going forward.
They do. Well, and here's the thing. Like, Minnesota's not going to give up Kirk Cousins. They don't have anything behind him ready to go. Like, he is their best option. Let's be honest. Kirk Cousins is the best option for probably all but 7 teams in the NFL. He is a very, very good quarterback. He's going to be the MVP this season. I'm sticking with it even after last week. It would be great, but you're going to have to give up way too much. And if you're the Jets at some point, you got Rodgers coming back next year, right? And you got Rodgers, who could be coming back this year still. But Zach Wilson, that team has his back, right? They're with him still. They're frustrated, for sure. Garrett Wilson had his back. He was put in bad positions. Here's the issue with the game last week with Zach Wilson. You have a quarterback, right, that's not ready, that shouldn't have been in there, and you need to protect him, and you have a running back like Breece Hall, like Cooks, who's back, not Cooks.
Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook. Thank you. Sorry. Wow. And yet, over 70% of your play calls are passing and deep passes down the field.
Well, they have no
Breece Hall only got 4 carries and broke off for almost over 100 yards on those 4 carries. You are not protecting that quarterback by not running the ball. Run the ball and protect your quarterback, and Zach Wilson will look a lot better.
The weakest part of the Jets is their offensive line. They can't run the ball. That's the problem.
They sure did anytime they gave Breece Hall the ball. Breece Hall came back for this, and he is ready to go.
They've got to do something to address it. I still think Cousins is an option. He's going to be free agent at the end of the year anyways. Bring him in. Anthony Richardson out with a concussion protocol.
Yeah, he went for a touchdown. He got hurt. I don't blame him for not sliding on that. Does he need to slide more? Yes. But listen, he's going to go through these bumps and bruises this year. I told you, he's going to be bad this year. And that is one of those situations that was maybe not the best decision. Correct. He got a touchdown. He wouldn't take that back. He got a touchdown. They got hit hard at the end of the run. It is what it is. Put him in the Tua Tagovailoa falling jiu-jitsu training because that seems to be working out pretty well for him.
So far.
And he's going to come back. He's going to have his bumps and bruises. And next year or two, he's going to be the best quarterback in the NFL.
They've got to protect him. Bryce Young is one big hit away. I mean, that was ugly when I was watching him. He was running for his life half the time. Anthony Richardson getting a concussion this early in the season. He's got to learn to be wise about his hits that he takes.
Listen, he's in concussion protocol. He got his bell rung. It happens. It's football. It's a dangerous game. He'll be fine. He's a big boy.
He is, but I was concerned when I saw that.
Listen, I call this one. The Rams are better than we thought. Almost beating the San Francisco 49ers. Matt Stafford is all of that in a bag of chips. come at me because I was right.
You were right. Rams look better than they are. Sean McVay has done a great job coaching them up, even without Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford looks like his old self again, as long as he stays healthy. They were better. I mean, Purdy looked very impressive. I think he's better than most people gave him credit for. He thought, oh, he's a game manager, blah, blah, blah. He's really good. And San Fran's defense is really, really good.
Especially with Nick Bosa back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason they won that game. But Matt Stafford's getting comfortable. I think this is his last ride. I really, really do. I think he is clearly at the end of his career. And I think this could be it for Matt Stafford. And so he's going to put it all out in the field to prove that he is what we all know he is. He's already a Hall of Famer. Why not go and try and win another Super Bowl? And with him at the helm, they are definitely a playoff team. And once you get in the playoffs, it's anybody's game.
I thought they would fall off a little bit. And if they did, I thought he would be another guy the Jets might call out on because he's at the end of his career anyways.
You could.
But I think the Rams are going to be in contention now.
They are.
I think they're going to finish second in that division. I had them at third. So we'll see. The gear is young. I'm not changing yet. Justin Fields, on the other hand, will be a backup for some other team next year. He needs an offensive-minded head coach because the Bears are really, really bad.
Everybody forgot that they were the worst team in football last year.
I didn't forget it.
I don't know why everybody keeps saying the Bears are going to be better. They have these weapons. They traded out of the first overall pick so quick that people keep thinking the Panthers were the worst team. No, it was the Chicago Bears. They were the worst team in football by a large margin last year. Maybe not game win wise, but statistic wise, they were really, really bad. They did nothing to fix their offensive line. But Justin Fields, he missed DJ Moore wide open at least 3 times last week. And that's your number one receiver. That's who you need to be looking for every single time. I don't know what it is. I saw this guy play better at Ohio State. I don't know what is happening right now.
Honestly, I think it has a lot to do with the coach at the top of the ticket. If he was playing for Mike McCarthy, Justin Fields would be a different quarterback.
Yeah.
He would be more accurate.
I think the Bears just did what they do to quarterbacks. Again. They just ruined another quarterback. If you are a quarterback, do not play for the Chicago Bears. They are going to end your career. But they're a bad team. They're a bad team there, and they're a long way away from being a good team.
They are.
Now, this one I wanted to spend some more time with. So that ends NFL Speed Roundup, because I do want to talk about this a little bit more in detail here. What in the world is going on with Russell Wilson? And let me ask you this question here. Is this just who he always was? And he had a really good defense, a really good running game, and some really good wide receivers protecting him? Or did something change where all of a sudden this is happening?
I think it's a combination of both. I think Sean Payton, when he was on script in the first half of that game, he was really good. They were playing well. In the second half of the game, where you have to make adjustments as the game goes on, Wilson wasn't doing it. And that's where he and Payton got way, way off the page from each other. I don't think Payton has any respect for Russell Wilson. I honestly think he will not be the starting quarterback by midseason. He won't even be with the team. They'll cut their losses and they'll just let him go and let him try to find somebody else next year, which would be a really, really bad look for Wilson if he's cut by his team.
Yeah, it would. I just don't understand what's happening. I mean, when Sean Payton said, quit kissing babies, you knew they weren't on the same page. I mean, that was clear at that point.
Look, you heard the same thing from Pete Carroll.
But you saw him cook in Seattle. You saw him do a lot of good things when he was rolling out. This does not look like the same guy. It just doesn't. I remember watching Russell Wilson play, and he had confidence. He had swagger. Listen, he looked cocky and arrogant, and he looked fake in interviews. That none of that's changed, right? But his confidence on the field, he looks like a deer in the headlights, and I just don't know what's going on.
It's going to be a real big gut check for him because for the first time in his life, He's not living up to expectations. And when you're somebody who's always been out to find the bigger, better deal, and you were the guy, and you've got the swagger, and you can always get the supermodel, and blah, blah, blah. Now he can't. Now it's all about, can he play professional football anymore at the highest level? And it's on his shoulders. He's got to find a way to dig out of it. And I don't, he talks about putting it in the hands of God a lot, which I think is a good thing to do. But I think he's also got to dig back and go back to the basics and look at Peyton and go, okay, I'm missing here. Tell me where I'm missing. Help me get better. I just don't know if his ego will allow him to do that.
Well, and that's, what's one of the deadly sins, right? Ego.
Pride.
Pride, thank you. Pride is the deadly sin. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So I have you around. You can only put so much in God's hands. God's not going to do much for a football game, right? At some point, you have to get on the same page. Your head coach, eat crow. Like, you came here, wanted an office, you wanted this, you wanted that, and it all got taken away now that Sean Payton's here. There's a new sheriff in town. We had a whole episode about new sheriffs in town, and a majority of that was talking about Sean Payton in Denver. And he's showing that Sean Payton's not going to lose. And if you're going to be the reason that they're losing, he's going to steamroll you and get you out of the way.
He's going to succeed in Denver. And it's going to be, get on the bus or I'm running you over with it.
Right.
And right now, he's ready to run over Russell Wilson.
Could that be an option for the Jets?
I don't know. I mean, would he play for Nathaniel Hackett after the way he big-timed him the last time? I don't think so. I don't think so.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Outside of that might have been an interesting one, but yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
The whole Nathaniel Hackett thing. Never mind.
And I also think, looking back on to one of our very first predictions that we got right on this show, if Russell Wilson would not have went to Denver, he would have been in Green Bay.
Yeah.
If Rodgers would have been in Denver,
right,
he would have walked all over Matt LaFleur.
Yes, he would have.
It would have not been a pretty.
You're going to see Jordan Love walking all over Matt LaFleur pretty quick here. Like, this is getting ugly. So let's transition over to the next part of the show here. But before we do that, you let us know what you think with Russell Wilson. What's wrong with him? What is the next step? Make sure you comment below. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy this show as much as we enjoy making it. Last thing I want to talk to you about on the show before we go to your last words, because there have been some performances by coaches, not by players, not by teams, but by coaches, that has immediately put these coaches on the hot seat. One person I want to take off the hot seat immediately is Mike McCarthy.
Correct.
Mike McCarthy, his butt's pretty cold right now. He's feeling pretty good down in the nether regions because he is looking great. He will be a head coach for as long as he wants to be at this point, and is slowly making his way into the Hall of Fame for the NFL.
2 games in, slow your roll a little bit on that, but
I don't know how to do that, okay?
Okay.
It's another prediction I've had right. I am pretty much perfect on all my predictions to start the season.
What did I just say?
We went back and looked at the tapes, and I have not been wrong. The Rams are better than we thought.
There is a 7 deadly sin that covers.
Yeah, but even God's proud of me right now. The Bills aren't looking great. The Bengals are starting 0-2 because he's hurt. Kirk Cousins is looking great right now. I mean, if Rodgers doesn't get hurt, I'm perfect for my picks. Like, this is impressive.
Okay, back to the topic on hand. Here are the 3 coaches that I think are on the hot seat and in danger of being let go at any point in time.
You've gotten about 2 of your predictions right.
Chargers with Brandon Staley. They've got a really good team. Just
man, oh man.
I have not been impressed with
Here's
Staley.
the thing. So they brought in Kellen Moore, right? Who was calling the plays for Dallas last year. Mike McCarthy looks like a pretty smart guy taking over those play calls all of a sudden.
Or is Staley not letting Kellen Moore do his thing? I think Kellen Moore may be the replacement if things don't turn around in a big hurry.
No, I mean, Kellen Moore's had 2 teams, and Dallas underperforms last year. All of a sudden, San Diego, LA, the Chargers are underperforming this year. I mean, man, how much slack do you want to cut a kid before you all of a sudden realize, listen, you're not as good as we thought you were at calling these plays, and especially late in games. They lost a close game to the Dolphins where Herbert looked great and Tua just had the ball at the end.
Right.
But he lost to the Titans team that you shouldn't have lost to late in the game.
The next one I have on the list is the Bears head coach, Matt Eberflus.
That's an easy pick.
It's an easy pick, but it's a legit pick because
he was given trash last year, and he still has trash this year. You're going to see the GM fired before you see him fired.
You see both of them. Look, Eberflus is a defensive-minded head coach.
Right.
He's got a great quarterback, kid who should be better than he is. And
he is, but he's been shaken. This happens to kids all the time in the NFL. You get into that third year, and you've just lost your confidence. And that is Justin Fields right now. He has zero confidence in himself.
Okay, so
that's an easy pick. That's too easy of a pick.
I'm going to do
a trash team.
And I do my other one that's not an easy pick that probably most people won't see. The Packers' Matt LaFleur should be on the hot seat, and he's really in danger of being let go right away.
Oh, I see why you said save some time for this one.
Yes.
Matt LaFleur over the last 4 years has cost the Packers at minimum 17 games because of bad play calling.
In the fourth quarter, the guy is a turtle.
He lost us 2 NFC championships because of bad play calling. And let's talk about this Atlanta game. Okay?
Up by 12 in the fourth quarter.
Up by 12 in the third quarter, or fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter.
And you did. I was agreeing with you and then misspoke, as I do.
You're forgiven.
Thank you. But let's talk about the field goal for a second.
Do we have to? You got a guy with a rocket on his leg, or you're going to let him kick it 51. You screw it up, and there's a delay of game called, and then you won't let him try for 56? Really?
So let's go back to the beginning of that.
I know I'm too angry about it.
You have a false start, which is coaching. If you have penalties, it's coaching. That's one thing I miss about Mike McCarthy. You know what Mike McCarthy doesn't have? False starts.
Right.
Stupid penalties. That's the way he coaches.
Or he calls a timeout if he sees that it's going to be a delay.
This is the biggest one that really pissed me off. Is you have a 51-yard field goal. The clock is winding down. You and I noticed the clock was winding down because we're yelling at the TV, hurry up and kick it or call a timeout. We had timeouts on the table. No timeout is taken. The Packers take a delay of game. You move back to 56 yards. And then, like you said, you have a kid that was bombing 62-yard field goals indoors, by the way. This game is indoors. And you don't put him out on the field. And that what ended up being the points that lost you the game. Now, no, Atlanta was driving. It was fourth down when they kicked the field goal, even though Arthur Smith wanted to clearly go for it. And we weren't stopping anybody at that point.
No.
But what really annoyed me about Matt LaFleur in this situation, and then I'm going to hand this back over to you, is him talking about the defense and how we need to stop people. No, what needs to happen is if you're up by 12 points with 1 quarter left in the game, you need to put the damn ball in the end zone. You need to score a touchdown and seal it for your team, because you going 3 and out twice and giving 3 times, you're right. The Atlanta Falcons had the ball for 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. You can't do that to your defense and expect them not to break.
Look, the defense held Atlanta to 25. Really, they could have held them to 20. They were gassed in the fourth quarter because they were on the field the whole game. McCarthy doesn't get creative in the fourth quarter. He doesn't try to throw a great slant pass. Jordan Love missed a wide open Romeo Doubs on a crossing pattern. That's basically a rookie mistake. It happens. But where are the creative screen passes? Where are doing things to get other people engaged in the game? It wasn't there. It was hand the ball off, try a pass, and then punt it away. Happened 3 times in the fourth quarter, and the defense had to go back onto the field. And yes, did they have trouble stopping the run? Yeah, but they also had
the fourth quarter.
And they also have Bijan Robinson, who is going to be the rookie of the year and is a talent.
And by the way, you have Arthur Smith, who coached with Matt LaFleur in Tennessee, let's not forget, who knew.
He knew him.
what was going to happen in the fourth quarter. And he got those 3 and outs. He called it right. He got out coached. I said he should have been fired 2 years ago.
He made Desmond Ridder look like an all-pro, and it was a rookie who threw interceptions and could have been a couple of them.
Very different than I thought he was going to look.
He's a different-looking dude. Yeah, he is.
He's not expecting the curly hair.
He goes back to when baseball players in their 20s look like they were in their 40s.
Yeah.
He looks like he's in his mid-30s right
He
now.
definitely does. He is an old school player. You guys looked, and I mean you guys as in like the older generations, because it's interesting to see. You guys looked a lot older when you were kids.
Because we had to walk 6 miles uphill in the snow both ways to school and back home.
Maybe. But you did. You looked a lot older when you guys were younger, and you guys lived different lives. I mean, that's a fact.
We were outdoors a lot. But getting back to this, I don't know what it is with LaFleur, but his coaching changes from the first 2 quarters. And in the fourth quarter, I said he turtled. He just gets in the shell. He doesn't know what to do. He looks a little bit like Paul Chris, deer in the headlights, especially on that field goal. I know the Packers want to wait until the new president takes over to make any kind of changes, but I think the time for Matt LaFleur to be gone may be here already.
But it's not the first time that there's been a coaching change and GM change right before a president leaves. Bob Harlan made that change right before he left by bringing in Ted Thompson and bringing in Mike McCarthy before Mark Murphy took over, who wasn't even in the organization at the time.
Look, he panicked when he hired Joe Barry because he thought he was going to get Jim Leonard, and when he didn't have a backup plan. That's what happens in the fourth quarters of these games. If it doesn't go exactly where he wants, he gets conservative because he doesn't have a backup plan.
As bad as Gutekunst did in the Aaron Rodgers situation, and I'll never forgive him for that.
And the Devontae Adams.
That was part of the Aaron Rodgers saga, though. Like, we lost Devontae Adams because Brian Gutekunst didn't like Aaron Rodgers. That's all part of it, and I will blame him for that till the day I die. He put a good roster on the team.
He did.
We have the most talented defense besides the Jets in all of football. We have a very talented offense, and again, a good offensive line. Young, very young, but talented. Aaron Jones is one of the best running backs in the league.
It's certainly better than everybody gave him credit for.
He's in conversations with trading for Jonathan Taylor, which I think will happen, although with Nick Chubb being out. By the way, prayers with Nick Chubb.
Yes.
That was a nasty injury.
He may not ever play again, and he was right about to get paid.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him because he was a huge talent.
Only NFL player to average 5 yards per carry the first 5 years of his career in history.
Yeah. Jim Brown didn't do it.
Nope.
OJ didn't do it.
Nope.
Emmett Smith didn't do it.
Nope. Just Nick Chubb.
Barry Sanders didn't even do it.
Nope.
Averaged 5 yards per carry. Think about that.
The first 5 years of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I wish so. Price of poker for Jonathan Taylor went up. The Browns are going to be in that discussion now. I still think the Baltimore Ravens are going to be in that discussion right now. The Packers are clearly going to be in that discussion because A.J. Dillon is just not the answer at this point.
Now the Colts know that too.
The Bears are out of that discussion because they're just a bad team.
Miami will still be in the discussion.
And Miami. I forgot Miami. You're right. Miami is in those discussions as well. So you have a lot of people playing, but I think he's worth the price tag, honestly.
Oh, I do too.
You go in and you make that trade. I don't know what's going to happen with the Packers this year. Were there rookie mistakes in the fourth quarter? Yeah, there were, but all of a sudden Jordan Love looks different. But it's like, well, yeah, your head coach is panicking right now.
And that's the biggest problem. Jordan Love, when he's confident and he has confidence in his head coach, has looked really pretty good so far. In the fourth quarter, his coach had no confidence in what he was doing at all.
No.
And Jordan Love was like, I'm not ready to run this ship on my own.
Right. Well, and that goes down to the last snap where the center didn't snap the ball and Jordan Love falls forward. Like, that was a dumb, stupid mistake. But again, he's a kid. He's going to make those mistakes. But if your coach is not coaching right and not calling that play right, and he's panicking, like, what else are you going to do?
If I've got any criticism of Jordan Love, you always hear the cadence, especially when a Rodgers or a Peyton Manning's on the field, even Desmond Ridder. When he was on the field, Jordan Love has got to get his voice, and he's got to get a stronger voice to make use of that cadence. It's a loud stadium, and I think that's why the center didn't snap the ball, because he just didn't hear Jordan Love's cadence.
He's got to get louder. Somebody's got to come and tell him that, but I'm nervous that the person
who should
tell him is the head coach won't tell him, And all we can hope for as Packers fans is that Aaron Rodgers is watching these games now that he's not playing and is saying, hey, you got to get louder.
Yes.
And is helping him out in the background. Because not Jordan Love, but Aaron Rodgers is a very good human being. And I think he does want to see Jordan Love succeed.
And I do think he will reach out to him if he's physically able. I don't know the status of his surgery or how he's
out.
Doing.
He's
I know
fine.
he's out. He's fine. But he would do that for Jordan Love because he wants to see him succeed.
Right.
He had nothing but good things to say about him the whole time he was there. So
it's interesting. Matt LaFleur has to go, though. Brandon Staley will not be the head coach of the Chargers unless they drastically change things in the next little bit. The Bears head coach, that's an easy pick. I don't think he's going anywhere. I really don't.
It may be an easy pick, but it was a good pick.
I don't think it is. I don't think you can't blame the head coach for this roster. It's the general manager's fault. He's built a terrible roster.
He isn't working with his offense, and Justin Fields needs an offensive coach to just work with him, and he'll get better.
You need talent.
He's got some talent. He's not finding the wide receivers the way he should.
He's not, and that needs to be fixed, and you're right on that.
Thank you. Remember that. I was feeling better for a while, and you're making me cranky.
Well, because you're wrong.
No, I'm not.
You're wrong on that one, but the Matt LaFleur one and the Brandon Staley one, you were absolutely correct. Can't blame the Bears for a bad roster. That's all I'm saying. You can't blame the Bears for a bad roster. Yeah. But we have had a good show, and you cannot have a conversation without your father getting the last word, so it is all you.
Well, I had another one I was going to do, and it will come up next week. But Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, said something that I really, really liked and I wanted to share. So he tweeted out, or do we call it Xing it out now? I'm not sure. But he said, forget what they think or say about you, because the only thing that matters is what you think and say about yourself. I need you to stay positive and persistent. Today will be better than yesterday, but not as good as tomorrow. Believe that. And that's very true. There are a lot of haters in the world. We've certainly heard of them on this show, like, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. But we also hear a lot of good things, that this show is growing, and 70,000 of you almost have loved the show and have become a subscriber. So thank you for that. But in real life, you're all going to hear haters. You're going to hear that you're not as good a salesman as you should be, or that you're arrogant. You may just be supremely self-confident. Do yourself a favor and give yourself self-talk every day. Put something up on your mirror. I've got it. It says good things are coming my way. And I truly believe that. So listen to what Coach Prime said. He's right on the mark, and he's been a breath of fresh air in college football. So thank you, Deion, for that tweet that you put out over the weekend.
That's solid. I love Deion Sanders. But as I've told you before, I would change one thing. Don't forget that good things are already here.
They are.
And you are all great people, and you have a lot of good things in your life. Don't forget to take advantage of those and enjoy them while you got it.
Love your family.
Always, always. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. This has been Sports Talk with Dad, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.